I got it. Hello, everybody. I'm Mel Doerr, the Aloha Short Psychic, and today I've got the one, the only Linda G in the house. Hi, Linda.
Hi, you guys. How you
Uh,
doing? It's overcast here. What it's like over there? It's
uh,
cooler.
I was up most of the night because it stormed, and when it thunders, the dog, she paces back and forth. She doesn't like it. So I was up with her, and then when it stopped, I went to bed. But it's sunny now. It's a beautiful day here. So, but it's supposed to
Oh,
storm.
there's tornado warnings and everything coming towards St. Louis. Buffalo's gonna get hit. They got a lot of bats. And this weather is a what for? I'll tell you that right now. God is speaking.
It's going to get crazier before it gets any better. That's for sure.
Yeah.
Um, but I guess the news, other than the Trump
Oh,
assassination.
you were going to talk about our event before we started.
Oh, yes, that's right. I forgot. Thank you. Yeah, our event, we've got 9 openings left. So if
I
you're
can't believe it. I can't. Well, I can. I can.
if you're interested, please call my office at 847-590-5411. If you get the voicemail, it might take us a couple days to get back to you. No works. We'll make sure that we get your information, and we'll make sure that you get a brochure and everything there is to know. So 847-590-5411. At this stage of the game, it's best to call my office. I get so many emails. So
Right.
all right.
Me too. I'm just overwhelmed, but I have some things to say. So when you're ready, let's go.
Okay, I'm not complaining about the amount of emails, by the way. I'm just saying that sometimes it's hard to get to all of them.
Oh, I know, because and a lot of times when something happens, it's 50, 60 people telling you the same thing.
I know. And
So,
so, but thank everybody for your wonderful support. Without you guys,
yes. Well, they're afraid. This is a very tough time right now. People need to be reassured.
yes, they do. But Linda, my guides had shown me uh for the past year and a half, 2 years, and I've been saying it. And my friend Beverly Kirby, she's a wonderful medium, said the same thing. Like anywhere from like 6 to a month or two before the election, everybody buckle up your seatbelts. It's going to be a wild ride. And here we are.
Yeah.
It is crazy. And my intuition tells me it's going to get crazier.
Yeah. I wrote on my community page that this morning, did you see they didn't broadcast Joe in the morning Joe?
I didn't see that.
So just coverage of this assassination attempt. Anyway, she was there for ex-President Trump. She was supposed to interview him after this event. And he called her the next day and told her, are you guys okay? And she said, yes, we are, sir. She said, he said, did you notice that I turned my head? And he said, I never turn my head. I always turn my whole body. I never turn my head, because he doesn't want a side view of his
Right.
And that day I turned my head. Had I not turned my head, I probably would be dead now.
Well, I think that's him being high drama because
Yeah, but he told her that. And then you know what he said? She said, sir, so what happens at the Republican convention? He said, I've tore my speech up. He said, I'm going to only go off Biden's record, and I'm going to tone the temperature down, because I told Dan when this happened, I said, even though he was like, fight, all that crap, I said, listen, he's afraid. This shook him up to his core. You can not, what he thought, I don't think he was shot. I think it was something else. Because the people on the bottom, there was police force on the bottom that were there from the county. All of them got injured by shrapnel. They didn't talk about that.
I'm gonna, you know what? Had he been shot in the ear with a AK-47, it would have taken a 0 off. That's no.
Or just skimmed by him, it would have taken this. And the repercussions, I looked it up, of that type of bullet going in past your ear would have caused some sort of hearing damage. I guess it's very, very loud.
The other thing is, my feeling is it was shrapnel. But he's gonna make a lot on this. I was shot. No, you weren't. you got
Well,
shrapnel.
do you notice how the doctors didn't come out and give a press conference? They didn't say, we've attended to the president, he's fine. He had a bullet wound, injury. They can't say that because it was a fragment injury. So he doesn't want them to say anything.
Correct. That's exactly what it is.
But he told this woman he's taking it down.
Well, that's
He
only
wants to take it down, but let me tell you something.
going to
because
last for a nanosecond, him taking it down.
Mary Ann read on him, and she was really hoping that he would take it down. And I think initially I'm telling you, it shook him up. He might even be telling the son, stop with any kind of violent rhetoric. But I really feel it's not going to last.
It won't last. You're right. It'll last about, my guides tell me, maybe a week, maybe after the convention, and he's going to ramp it back up. And this is what happens when you spew violence. And the karma of it all are the MAGAs are the ones who, oh no, funded through the NRA, thank you. We don't want gun control, blah, 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 blah. But my guides had told me, have that been a MAGA who had been attacked, or Trump for that matter, how much you want to bet at some point they're going to preach something about gun control? I'll bet you.
What do you mean? The MAGA did attack.
I know that. My point is, though, if it were a MAGA that was attacked by someone,
It was a MAGA, it was the Trump.
that's not my point.
Oh.
My point is, if there was a MAGA who had been attacked by another MAGA or somebody else for that matter, the MAGAs would be the ones that would start talking about gun control. And I will bet you they're going to start talking about how to curb violence in this country. And they might even raise an issue of gun control. That's what I'm trying to say.
Oh, okay. Well, my sister said it'd be funny if all of Congress shows up today with all the Democrat Congress shows up with AK on their shirt like they all did.
That's my point.
Gun worshiping people, but it changed him a little bit. It did. It scared him. And what really was, because let me tell you, had this been a Democrat that hit him, this would be a horse of a different color.
Oh, absolutely.
What this is when they found out it was Republican, that even shook Trump up even more.
Yeah, have you ever noticed that when things don't go the way the MAGAs want, then they want to change laws? They want to do this to suit them, right? This didn't go the way they wanted.
Now, and they want to turn the rhetoric down. Even Johnson said, we need to turn this down.
Correct.
Who was we?
Who's we? I get, that's exactly my point. So they're going to even bring up something about gun control or violence. And I'll be like, oh, really? And what the Dems need to do is play clips of Trump inciting riots and things like that. My feeling is this is going to help Biden. I really do feel it'll help Biden.
I do too. And I think that even if he tones it down, that'll turn off the big maggots.
That's right.
Bannon and did you see Alex Jones? They're talking nothing but horrible things.
Well, they're going to try to say it was a Democratic plot and this and that, but
yeah, but it's not going there. The FBI will come out with the real story.
Not going to work. The other part of it is I think the shooter, I think you're right, wanted to create a civil war, but I also think he was deranged and maybe he thought that wasn't Trump, it was replacement and he wanted the real Trump. You know,
no, that wasn't it.
I got a feeling he was delusional.
I feel like he was very angry.
Oh, very angry, yes.
Very angry.
I still think.
But I also felt my hit, and I could be wrong, that he might have done this to maybe start a civil war.
Oh, I agree with that. Absolutely. But I still think. But a lot.
But this isn't going to help. So he's changed his speech for. I don't want to even look at him for the Republican convention. No. But I feel a little bit flatline, and I see a lot of activity on the outside of the convention, but I'm not seeing anybody doing anything horrible just yet.
I do think it'll be a little disjointed, that convention, like the last one was, but I think that you know, there's a lot of people out there saying that this was staged and blah blah blah. I don't see that at all. My guides tell me no, it was not staged. Absolutely not.
I tell you, if I thought it was, it wasn't.
No, I don't think that at all. Okay,
but we'll find out. We'll find out. They have the investigation going. So now I'm getting 1,000 emails, and I wrote on my community page this morning, because as soon as I heard it, I let everybody know that Aileen Cannon listened to Justice Thomas,
Yes.
has put it away, saying that Smith didn't have the right. And let me tell you something. What did I say to you guys? I think you even said it too a couple of weeks ago. When I threw the cards on her, her cards were bad. I said, she's going sooner than later. When I said this, it was like 2 weeks ago. She's getting ready to have to go sooner than later. I see the 11th Circuit turning it around, almost letting, because I felt Smith will be able to even start the progress again with somebody new. And they may take it to the Supreme Court, but it's a nothing burger there, because Thomas had no right to bring that up on something that had nothing to do. And by the way, Justice Thomas is in the hospital with a lung infection as we speak.
I didn't know about the hospital.
Send your prayers, everybody. We can't think negative, but I read on Thomas too, and I remember thinking, Jesus Christ, his cards are bad. I even thought, don't tell me he's going to die or something.
You can send prayers that he steps off the court, but I pulled my old notes because I keep notes on what I predict, and I had
For you, I never do that.
I had asked it rhetorically, will Eileen Cannon try to dismiss the documents case? And if so, what will happen? It was just a psychic thought I had. Well, that happened today. Clarence Thomas clearly, unequivocally sent her
A message.
He sent her a message. And I think my guides are telling me, and I'm certainly not conspiratorial, but behind the scenes, Trump's people had talked to Thomas and Alito and some of those justices, and also to her.
I see the Federalist Society whispering in her ear.
Absolutely. But we know where it came from. And saying that, it was unconstitutional for him to be appointed. That's bull hockey.
Yeah, they'll prove it's bull hockey.
And I agree that it will go to the 11th Circuit Court and they will overturn her decision.
And they will replace her too, by the way.
Yes, and I do see her being replaced. Hallelujah. However, I'm just a little nervous that if it does go to SCOTUS, because Clarence Thomas has already said Jack Smith's appointment was unconstitutional, he should recuse himself, because Eileen Cannon is thinking even if the 11th Circuit Court, I can tell you what she's thinking, and the Trump people too, even if the 11th Circuit Court gets rid of her and overturns her decision, then it'll go to the Supreme Court. And her thinking is the Supreme Court will uphold her decision. That's the thinking. I'm not saying it'll happen. That's just the thinking. So you don't think SCOTUS will hear it?
No, they may hear it, but I'm feeling, especially since AOC, and I know it's kind of like that she can't do anything now. But if Biden comes in again, they will all be impeached. They will, trust me. I think since all this happening is going on, they wouldn't be that stupid. And actually, in truth, all the professional people who know about the Supreme Court are saying that man had no right to bring that up. That was not on the table.
No, it wasn't. And I see there's going to be at least 2 justices impeached. And at least one of them will resign before it gets to them being indicted, But I see 2 impeached and removed from the court.
Let me read on Justice Aileen.
Well, she's dog meat after this. I mean,
she's dog meat.
She thinks she's going to be on the Supreme Court and blah, blah, blah.
Well, if I hadn't read on this earlier, knowing that she was going to pull something like this, I said, Jack Smith is waiting. TikTok. He's waiting for her to be stupid enough. He's got all his ducks in a row. And trust me, there's stuff getting ready to hit the fan.
I knew that she would try to dismiss this case. I had said it publicly, and here we are. So would you. Here we are.
But her cards were bad. And now I'm looking again, you guys. Here she is.
While you're looking, it's like my guides tell me, it appears as if they'll win a few battles, but they will not win the war. And
no.
That's for Eileen Cannon.
She's got the 10 of swords, the 8 of swords. God is in the house. She will be reversed. She will be reversed.
I know she'll be reversed. I'm just nervous what happens if it goes to SCOTUS. That's what
I'm not nervous about SCOTUS because they're about ready to go down. And listen, we're looking at November, what, 5th or 6th? When is the election?
November the 6th. Unless they file an emergency motion, but you know, if Jack Smith is smart, what he'll do is appeal it and then have the 11th court kind of withhold a decision until right before the election, so that there's a decision maybe late October, and that won't give SCOTUS enough time to hear the case.
I feel my interpretation of what I was seeing, and I could be wrong, is that the 11th Circuit will remove her like they removed her before.
They will.
They're actually going to call this sort of like an egregious, what the hell was she thinking?
They absolutely will.
And that she'll be replaced, and whoever goes in there will also start the process. Sure, it might not take off until right before the election. And don't forget, SCOTUS doesn't come back till till October.
Right. So my point is, I think they'll put it off. You know, they'll heal the appeals process, but the appellate court will probably put off their decision until October. So then it's too late for the Supreme Court to hear it, because I do see Eileen Cannon off the case. I do see a new judge appointed, and the Trump people are going to appeal that to wherever, and it'll go to SCOTUS. But then after the election, I see another.
I do not see, but I could be wrong. I do not see the 11th Circuit Court deliberately holding off on their decision. I see them saying, let's get down to business and let's see what comes. If they want to appeal it to the Supreme Court, good luck. Maybe they'll say, maybe the Trump people will say, well, what we want the Supreme Court, which would put a pause. But I don't see the 11th Circuit Court saying, oh, we're going to pause it.
Or maybe I'm just thinking that it'll take that long for it to get through the legal process.
Oh, he's definitely going to be found guilty of those.
Oh, absolutely. I see that. But I'm thinking it'll take, I could be wrong on the 11th Circuit Court, but I think it'll take that long to get through the legal.
And when they came back on something she did that was egregious before, they took her off right away. They didn't mess around.
Right. Well, I see her removed from the case, so there you go.
Yeah.
All righty. So let's get to the question, shall we?
Let's see if Thomas lives.
Oh, yeah, go ahead.
Thomas is very sick. What's going to happen to him?
I see 2 more hospitalizations for him, and then I don't see anything for him. So he might
not happy. You listen, tell you, this stress with what happened, even though he acts like king on it for a day, he's very ill. And I'll tell you what else, that Russia thing coming out on him is really gonna kick him in the ass. So there's no partying or celebration. I bet you if you even looked at Ginny now, she looks bad.
I pulled the 10 of diamonds, which means early death. So I don't wish him harm, but I see the number 8. So it could be 8 days, 8 weeks, could be August. It's his demise, his physical demise is not far off. There you go.
And the source is his outcome.
Those cards look terrible, by the way.
He brought it to himself. He has the star, but it's reversed.
Ooh.
And that's not a good card to have when it's reversed.
That means a lot of things coming to the surface.
Yeah.
All right.
So Thomas will be out sooner than later. And also, I really want to bring up real quick before we hit everybody else. Everybody's asking about it. Because Eileen Cannon, and they asked about, okay, Thomas is sick. And what was the other thing? Oh, well, you guys talked about it on your show yesterday, and I talked it about yesterday. Marianne from Revealing Light was hoping that Trump would take the higher realm. He's talking a little bit like he's going to, but I see him going back to the same thing, different day.
There's an old saying, a leopard doesn't change its spots, only the tree it climbs up.
Right.
So it might look for a while as if he's changed. He'll go right back to the same.
Well, he put out when they dropped the case, oh, it looks like the right thing happened and our wonderful Supreme Court and all these fraud charges like with January 6th all need to be removed. And I'm going to tell you something, it's not going to be removed.
And do you know what he's saying now?
What?
Now he's saying that that it's the Democrats who are trying to start an insurrection because of all this witch hunt against him. And it's the Democrats who are trying to overthrow the government. So Trump does what Trump always does,
He
blame
talks bull.
everybody else for things he has done.
Yeah, he's always lying. Okay, hand me a question.
All righty. Here we go. Patrice Wright says, why did Trump send out emails before the rally saying that all hell was going to break loose?
Because of his choice of the VP.
Right.
Oh, somebody told me that when that little comment on below that said, you want me to give you a hit, Ben? It's to replace the vice president. So he was basically saying he chose this person.
Correct.
But I thought Ben might be Ben Carson, but she said he was talking to Ben Marcellus.
Oh, I see.
So that could be it.
Well,
But I think he thinks who he picked for VP is really something. That's what I'm getting.
I think everybody's going to be up in arms about his VP picks, what I think.
Okay.
And I think that's going to help Biden as well. So, all right. Let me get, okay. Hello, Mel and Linda. I love your show. Thank you.
Thank you.
Do you see any type of violence at the DNC here in Chicago in August? Please pray and put out positive energy and white light over Chicago, wishing everyone be safe. Well, I've been putting out white light over Chicago for a very long time.
Do you know where it's going to be at in Chicago?
I don't know, actually. I should know. I don't live in Chicago. I live in the suburbs, but I should know. I just don't. But I think I do know a lot of my police friends, even if they're on desk duty, they have been called in for street duty because they're going to be wearing plain clothes. They're, just like you and I, they're going to be not in blues and uniforms. So there's a huge police presence. And so I think there will be a few outbreaks and, some carjackings and stuff like that, but I don't see any major outbreaks.
I'm going to look really quick. And it's in August.
Right. I think the Republican convention is going to be disjointed.
Yeah, it feels more outside, like people outside protesting.
Right. I'm sure they'll try to bring in agitators, but it won't work. That's what I pick up.
It'll change everything, this convention, December, the one in August. It looks like good news. Good news is coming. Okay. The president and Kamala feel really strong. Justice is being served. So we're going to get a lot of good news about what's going on outside of that. I think maybe somebody like Thomas is out. I think they replace what's her name. Things will start working out in our favor because right now he's got a little bit of a lift, like he's using this alleged assassination on his behalf.
It's like my guides keep telling me, even when I was at the Lincoln Tomb, it'll look as if they win a few battles. Even with these court cases, I've been saying it since day one. It will look as if he wins a few battles, the same in this election, but they will not win the war.
Yes.
When I was
tell everybody about the Lincoln Tomb again.
When I was at the Lincoln's Tomb, I was, right at the burial place, which is phenomenal, by the way. And it came through, I was just thinking about the country, and it came through that our union will survive, our union will last, our democracy shall live, and justice shall prevail. That's what came through, and that's what I believe.
And you got really touched by that. It came
I cried. I had tears in my eyes. And when I talked about it on the show, even on your show afterwards, I was really touched by it.
Yeah. That's wonderful news.
Yeah. I mean, I just keep defaulting back to that. And so, but my guides have told me for a long time that, they'll score they'll win a few battles, but they won't win the war.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Jackie Frazier says, I love you guys. Why did Trump want to hurry up and put a fist in the air and say fight And will the district attorney of Los Angeles, Gascon, lose his reelection in November since he's part of these people not being held accountable?
Yeah,
Uh,
he's gonna lose.
he's
That
going
I,
to lose. Is a
but
Gascon?
I felt the adrenaline was so strong with Trump, and his natural nature is to make, that whole thing was like a cartoon. His natural nature is to be like, but it's interesting because those Secret Service couldn't hold him down, and he was like, anybody need to shoot him, here I am. It was amazing that he wouldn't listen to them.
Well, he never listens. I think he was in a state of shock. And
Yeah,
I mean, that fight, well, that's not cool. But I just think, a lot of times when you're in panic mode, it'll show who you truly are.
yeah,
And that showed who Trump truly was. Fight, with the Nazi symbol. So we know he's a racist and a bigot. And deep inside, I think he's very Nazistic. We all know that.
yeah. But he was still in shock. I'm telling. Somebody said he got blown out of his shoes. No, he didn't. He lost a shoe because the Secret Service were laying on top of him.
Correct.
And
Correct.
can you believe somebody took those pictures? And according to how do you say it, Reuters?
Reuters.
Reuters, and they showed that they put those smiles on everybody's face. It was fraud. It was fake.
Right. Right. They laid on top of him to protect him. Of course,
Protect him. It caused his shoe to come off.
of course, it wouldn't stop an AK-47 bullet would go right through them and probably through him too. But if you got a bunch of people laying on you and you feel like you've been tackled, it's like, get off of me already.
Well, and I was telling, I don't know if I just said this on your show or was I telling you off camera, but a whole bunch of city police or county sheriffs who were in the front all got injured with shrapnel.
Yes, you told me that. Yes.
And so how do we know it's not shrapnel that hit him? Because that kind of bullet they show the bullets like that long. That kind of bullet scraping past him would have took the air with him.
My guides tell me it was shrapnel.
Okay.
Okay.
That's why there was no press release by the doctors. He told them no. He didn't want them to go out and say, no, the president was injured by shrapnel. He didn't want them to tell them that.
Correct, because now he can say he got shot, which he didn't. He got shrapnel.
Right. Not that the guy wasn't aiming towards him.
Well, the guy must have been a bad shot. So
He was really bad. He was so bad in high school. He joined some sort of gun club and they had to remove him because he was such a bad shot. And he was he would have hurt somebody else because he didn't know how to shoot.
because had that been a valid attempt and a sharpshooter, they would not have missed. Sharpshooters don't miss.
But some guy came up because everybody was pointing towards the roof where he was at. Some guy came up and when he popped his head up, the guy took his gun facing him and he dropped.
That's a sharpshooter. That's right.
And then that's when this kid started shooting. Boom, 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 boom. But he didn't concentrate because he knew that guy they were going to come and stop him, which they did right after that.
Right. Right. Okay. So Jackie Fraser says, so glad Alec Baldwin case was dismissed. Will he continue to make successful movies? And I hear, yes, he's not going to retire and he'll still make movies.
Yes.
All right. Somebody's asking about Biden's safety, and I don't see any attempts on Biden. If they are,
There are planned attempts on Biden, but I don't see them taking off.
I'm sure Putin has put a few in place.
Oh, did you see Putin had the nerve to give his 2 cents about this attempted assassination? That it is the rhetoric of the Democrats that it's causing I thought, this is a man who pushes people out windows and poisons them and killed Navalny and all that stuff, and he's got the nerve to give his 2 cents.
That's exactly what I said when I heard he put his 2 cents worth. I said, wait a minute. He kills people and says they fell out a first floor window. Come on. Anyway. Okay. Napoleon says, I like that. Hi, Mel, as you and Linda predicted, El Salvador is going to send military support to Latin American countries to fight the gangs and drugs. Peru and Argentina has interest in building a mega prison. What do you see? Well, what I see is a Central and Latin American Union forming a lot like the European Union. So I see countries banding together with a common currency. And I see a lot of crackdowns on the cartels, the drug smuggling in Central America and in Mexico. So that's what I see happening. I don't know your take on it.
Well, you were the one that told me I didn't know El Salvador got their country in check.
They did. They
They
absolutely.
got rid of all those craze. I did not know that. And God bless El Salvador.
It was a horrible.
Beautiful people from there, by the way.
Yes, absolutely. So
So a lot of El Salvadorians are going to be happy to go back to their country.
okay, now here's somebody Spirits Now says, and I like this. I just want to express that no matter what's said regarding President Biden, I'm riding with Biden. I like that. We'll all be riding with Biden.
Riding with Biden.
I like that. I'm going to use that. Thank you, Spirits Now.
Oh, have you noticed the talk about Biden stepping down has gone?
Yes,
It's
yes.
interesting how the higher realm will give us little gifts like that, you know.
And
I'm telling you, it's good that his ear wasn't shot off or that he was killed. You don't want that to happen.
No.
We want him to be able to run and lose greatly.
correct, but then he'll try to start another insurrection.
That's okay. He's still going to lose.
He's going to lose. But you know what? It was funny. My guides had shown me that all this hoopla about Biden stepped down, that within a week it would stop. That's all they told me. And here we are, within a week or two, it stopped.
Yeah.
So, and I don't think it's going to resurrect. If it does, it'll be nipped in the bud immediately.
Yeah.
Biden canceled some of his campaign speeches. He canceled some campaign tours because of that attempt. So at least Biden did the presidential thing.
And he had I think he needs to do more speaking to the country.
If that had been Biden that happened to, I wonder what Trump would have done. Not what Biden has done, that's for sure.
No. Too bad. They'd be saying too bad it was. Of course, there was some people said some pretty inappropriate things.
I did too off camera in the beginning, but then I had to think about it and thought, no, that's not cool.
Somebody showed a picture of Melania and fatigues up on a roof going, damn.
I'll try not to laugh at that. So anyway, she says, I'm riding with Biden. Vote blue, straight down the ticket. We must remain filled with light and positive vibes. You know,
like that guy David Feldman says, who I loved his little, I don't know if you watched it. I try to send it to everybody. His comments about this whole thing. And he said 13 between a justice in Wisconsin and all kinds of off the record, off different voting things that we've done to replace people, etc., have all gone to Democrats. 13 out of 13. Now, what does that tell you?
wow. Right? Okay, so Jade says, hi, you two precious souls. Thank you, Jade. That's very, very nice. Sending much love and gratitude for all you do for us. Thank you. You guys do a lot for us, too. I would like to know how 45 feels being a victim of violence, the very thing he promotes on a regular basis.
Shocked him.
I'm sorry, say again?
It shocked him.
It shocked him.
However, had it been a Democrat that attempted this, it'd be another big story. But because it's a Republican, all of a sudden him and Mike Johnson want to tone the rhetoric down.
Right. Absolutely. Okay, so somebody says,
And don't forget, Steve Scalise was nearly shot dead on a baseball field.
That's right. That is right.
And I'll never get over Rand Paul, who's supposed to be a doctor too.
Yeah, right.
How he jumped over that fence and ran like a little girl.
He's a coward.
Couldn't get out of there fast enough.
Yes.
He jumped the fence while Scalise and his cohorts were all injured. He just didn't care.
You know, a neighbor beat the you-know-what out of him because he was not following the association rules where he lived, and he was being such a bully to the neighbor. The neighbor had it. I think the neighbor was prosecuted, but I think the neighbor didn't care because he got in a few good licks.
Good. There you go.
All right. Aloha, Linda and Mel. have you noticed the Obama fundraising ads for Biden have stopped? Not seeing any ads in my IG feeds. The reason for that is because I think of this assassination attempt, and they stopped all ads for a couple of days.
No, this stopped way before when they were starting to ask Biden to step down. George Clooney talked to Obama and
Okay.
said what he was feeling, and I think Obama agreed to him.
I see him going back up.
Oh yeah, he's gone back up.
I do. I'm not gonna look at George Clooney much anymore.
No, and they said he's worried about his numbers come September when his new movie comes out. I don't even know the name of the movie. But if one of our subscribers said she took a look on, I think it's on YouTube for the when before a movie comes out, they show you a little bit. She said, yeah, it doesn't look interesting at all.
The name of the movie is Keep Your Nose Out of Politics.
I was just about ready to write down what you were telling me.
All right. Napoleon says, the far-right groups in France lost big time, in which the liberal groups won first place. Marie Le Pen is unhappy with the election results in parliament, and she is seen getting support from Viktor Orban of Hungary, of course.
Of course.
And Giorgia Meloni of Italy, of course. Do you see President Macron and other EU leaders ousting Le Pen, Meloni, and Orban? What future does the EU have? The EU ain't going anywhere. And my guides had shown me that, when Le Pen and the guy in Hungary, Orban, and the one in Italy, the ultra-right, here again, I told everybody, don't worry, because the pendulum's going to swing back the other way.
Right. Even when the EU started, I said, this won't last a long time.
Correct. People are tired of that ultra-right MAGA stuff here, but also the same rhetoric in other countries. They do not want another or more Nazistic regimes. They don't. And they stand up and fight. And I'm glad that Macron did what he did.
Me too. And I think Le Pen's going to do something that really gets her in trouble.
She is. Yes. When you
I like here where all those fake people that came in and gave the fake, what did they call them? The fake, they said they were the people who had the right vote.
Right.
What were they called? The fake electrodes or electra. Anyway,
right.
Did you see in Pennsylvania, people are writing in restaurants, we don't accept fake electro, whatever they are.
Right.
Here.
I'm glad the pendulum was swinging back, because other countries are tired of the ultra right wing BS. And it'll continue to swing back. Here's a really good question from Dakota Kelt. Darling Mel and Linda, with the recent behavior and bias in the media, will the fairness doctrine be reinstated?
Yes.
I've been saying that for a long time.
I know somebody had asked me that before, but I heard as clear as day, a man just say in my right ear, yes.
All right.
The problem is we can't give you correct time frames sometimes. Just know that this too shall pass.
They'll win a few battles, but they won't win the war. Lucia Delisi says, Pennsylvania is one of the battleground states. Do you see it staying blue? Thank you. Love you both so much. She wants to know if Pennsylvania will stay blue.
I think it will.
I see it.
Oh, that's when I'm telling you, watch that guy, Parkman. He talked, and there was a guy on that Andre had. People were upset because Andre had this astrologer that wasn't, he wasn't being pro-Biden, but sometimes you get those people. But this guy actually was a politician, he did the numbers. He said, I'm telling you right now, Pennsylvania's in the bag. Don't believe those numbers they give you. He said the way they're doing it, it's fraud. New York Times did a big thing. This is out the numbers, over 763 people.
My feeling is Alan Lichtman, the professor of sociology, is going to come out and say Biden's going to win.
Oh, he's pretty much there, but he's just saying he can't step down.
Right. And he won't.
Yeah.
All righty. Hi, Mel and Linda. This is Mary Bradley Black. Hi, Mary Bradley Black. That's a lot of B's, but okay. Will Katie Johnson and other victims of Trump and Epstein come forward before the election? I feel one of them or two of them will before the
I
election.
feel one, but I don't feel a lot of work being done till after the election.
You know, my light bulb just went on again with that whole thing with Trump. When he came forward and said in his statement on Twitter or X or whatever media it was, that it's a conspiracy to overturn the government from the Democrats. And then he said, yes, he was accused of doing something with a woman he never met, he never knew, blah, blah, blah. Now he's under a gag order and he's not supposed to say that. So I got a funny feeling that Judge Mershon is going to say, you violated the gag order and pull him back into court.
More than once.
Oh, no, but I'm saying it's going to happen again because of what Trump said recently about it, about
Oh, he thinks he's invincible now. Trump does.
correct.
He
And
thinks this whole attempted thing is going to work towards him and he's the big shot and they're taking pictures with the blood and the fight and selling those, he thinks he's all that.
that statement he just made, I'm talking about when Eileen Cannon made her decision, and he made that statement that it's he didn't say conspiracy, it's an insurrection. The Democrats are trying to overturn the country, the blah, blah, blah.
Anytime he's not saying, yes, I do in fact have top secret. He
Right.
doesn't say I didn't do it. He's saying I have it, but it's my right to have it and to sell it.
But what he did do in that statement, he didn't mention the person by name, but what he did say is that I was indicted for a woman or accused for a woman I had never met, never talked to her, never did anything. And then he further went on to criticize the whole state of New York. And for that case, he's under a gag order. And what I'm saying is, I'm feeling that Mershon is going to pull him back in and say, okay, I'm fining you again for contempt of court because you're still under a gag order.
Yeah. The fines don't mean anything to him, though.
He opened his mouth.
Yeah.
All right. This is a good
It's
one.
really going to shock them all when he loses again. And none of this, I'm telling you, somebody even said on Threads or one of those said, so somebody attempted to take Trump's life, but failed. Is this why you're going to turn around and vote for Trump? And you should see all the people saying, hell no.
Hell no. That's right. Okay. Carrie 01C says, will the Commonwealth of Massachusetts clean up the corruption that is statewide? I don't know what's going in Massachusetts, but I do see a lot of state governments being cleaned up.
Yeah.
Okay. Opta student says, hello, loves. Hi. When do you believe the media will finally give airtime to 45's island activities? Thank you both for all you do.
And we've kind of taken our eye off that because of all this stuff going on.
Right.
All of this Jeffrey Epstein stuff will happen to him after. I'm sorry, you guys. It's not really, it's there, but I don't see it really. This is when he wants to escape to another country. Not only because we're going to get him on stealing top secret information, but also because of the Jeffrey Epstein and these lawsuits that are coming up.
Oh, wait till that comes to the forefront. That's going to be huge. And I got a funny feeling there's going to be a lot breaking on that before the election.
Okay, good.
And after. Okay, Lone Phantom 756 says, will the corrupt SCOTUS attempt to steal the election for 45? And do Biden and the DOJ and the FBI have a plan to stop them if they pull that kind of shenanigans?
Absolutely, yes.
Absolutely, yes, they have a plan. And SCOTUS can try, but my guides are telling me they will not succeed.
Yeah.
Okay. Karen Smith says, love you guys. Thank you, Karen. That's very, very nice. Do you see a Democrat winning for governor of New Hampshire as Chris Sununu is not running again? I see a Democrat taking New Hampshire.
Oh, good. Yeah. Do you know who's running?
I don't know, but my guy just told me Democrat will take New Hampshire.
Okay, cool. I feel a lot of Democrats just down the aisle. I don't see any shocks that it went to Republican.
Well, I think it's still a bellwether for the election because a lot of these local elections and state elections went to Dems. And
Yeah,
it will continue to do that. Okay. Auntie Vaughn says, yay, lovely Linda and Auntie Mel. Hi. Since Project 2025 is not going to happen, uh, are they planning a Project 2029?
oh, Jesus.
I'm sure,
They're
but
still planning 2025. They really think, that's gonna happen, but it's not.
it's not. My feeling is because it wants to take away vote from the women and do this and do that, that's not going to fly.
Yeah.
Um, women or gays aren't going to go back in the closet, that's for sure.
Right, right.
Okay. This is a good one. M. Quattro Porte. Hi, Mel and Linda. Love you both. Do you see a successful comprehensive immigration reform for all undocumented that have been decades in the country? I do at some point. Yes, I
I
do.
do when Biden starts his new term, and I see DACA taking place,
Me too.
the Dreamers.
Elizabeth 3754 says, will a hurricane hit Houston, Texas this year? Well, one did,
Well,
didn't it?
there was a hurricane that did.
Um,
Is there another one I'm not seeing? I'm seeing more towards Florida and more toward Louisiana, Mississippi.
yeah, I see one whipping up through the Gulf Coast, hitting like Louisiana, Mississippi, Florida, but not Texas.
Or Houston, still waiting on their electrical.
There's one question I'm not going to ask because it's a little, and I don't want to go to YouTube jail.
Yeah.
Okay. Ethereal Material says, hello, my lovelies. What is up with all the Secret Service smiling? Something,
That was fake. It was a fraud.
oh, okay.
Marianne just put it on, it was on Riders.
So what happened?
It was put in later. Someone took the regular picture and added all those smiles.
So it was photoshopped.
It was Photoshopped, exactly.
Okay. Let It Rain Now says, was the shooter influenced by watching Alex Jones when he had on Ivan Railkin, and they talked about how they would benefit if someone took out Orange One? There are clips of this on Twitter. Ivan calls himself the Secretary of Retribution and works with Michael Flynn.
Could be, I don't know. I'm having a hard time specifically getting what this guy, but they will figure it out. The FBI will figure it out.
Also thinking that this guy wanted to take out Trump because maybe Trump he didn't think was radical enough or doing enough to promote a radical agenda. There was some kind of paranoid delusion involved. And you're
Yeah.
right, wanted to start a civil war. Okay, Golden Knight or Light says, so thankful for you both. I would love to help others like the two of you do every day. Well, okay, good. Well, major hurricanes across central Florida, we need to know what to prepare for if possible. Just suffered the loss of my sweet husband and pulled in many directions. So grateful. Many thanks to you.
I do see hurricane Central Florida, not necessarily in the central,
Right.
unless you're on the beach side.
Right. I see along the coast. But you
Yeah,
could do like the
along the
Gulf Coast or the Atlantic coast.
And listen to whatever they tell you and get out before it comes.
Right. By the way, Golden Light, your husband crossed right over and his energy is around you. And he's dancing around and he showed me somebody playing cards. So he is around you. All right. Emmy J says, hi, Mel and Linda. What's going on with our teens? They are gang robbing stores, killing people with guns, carjacking, attempting to assassinate a horrible person, and trying to blow up an NJPS&EG substation, and more I'm sure we haven't heard of.
Who's our teams?
Teens, T-E-E.
Oh, our teams. Okay.
Well, I think anytime you have a candidate for president perpetuating violence and talking about, when ultra right-wing Nazis are holding torches, marching, and he said there's good people there too, and he tries to overthrow our government and spurs an
There's
insurrection.
good teens out there though, but there are some bad seeds.
What do you-
Always a bad seed. And the other thing is we're kind of spoiling our kids. There's a lot of kids still living home with their mom and not getting a job.
Well, I think it's a powerful message about how powerful media can be.
Yeah.
And I like to talk about education because I think it's horrific when we have a country of high school seniors who are functionally illiterate. So
Yeah,
we
and
really
they're a
need,
little bored, yeah,
we really need to focus on education. And at some point, I see the federal government appropriating a lot of money toward education and getting a different education, somebody, education secretary or whatever it is in there that will really put the emphasis back on, reading, writing, and arithmetic. So good.
exactly, exactly.
Okay. We've already talked about this. Um, you know, Laura DeVary or DeVary wants to know if the incident was set up. I do not feel it was staged at all.
No, not staged.
I just question how they let that guy get on the roof. That's my question.
Yeah,
Somebody wasn't doing their job.
yeah,
That's what they need to focus on.
yeah. Well, they're good. They're looking at that.
Okay. Uh, Corinne Bordner says, what's going on with these federal judges? They're in Trump's pocket. That's
What's going on.
special prosecutor is illegal, question mark. Will Trump ever pay for taking all those records that he stored at Mar-a-Lago?
Yes, don't worry about that. It might be after he loses again, but it'll happen.
She says, since Saturday, I have felt stronger than ever than Biden will win in November. What
Yeah.
bothers me about Cannon's decision too is when they appointed that special counsel to investigate Biden and he came up with absolutely nothing.
Yeah,
And then
yeah,
a special counsel to investigate Hunter Biden. I just wonder if, because what Eileen Cannon says is that the DOJ appointed him and it wasn't approved by Congress. Well, that special prosecutor that Trump put in place to investigate Biden wasn't approved by Congress. So what do I have to say about that?
there you go. You can show that too.
That's right. Okay. Kathy Rollins says, hello, my angels on earth. I feel the turmoil accelerating on this crazy political roller coaster. Well, it's going to get crazier.
Yeah,
Major events are happening so fast now. Will we be able to slow down and have some peace soon? Thank you.
absolutely. After the, it's still gonna be a rough, but after the election's over, give it a couple of months later.
Uh, Julian Well says,
Is this our last question?
yes.
Okay.
Will the incident of Trump's rally turn more and more people off, including Republicans? I hear a yes to that. What do you think?
Hell yeah. I hear hell to the yes.
Hell to the yes, as you would say. Yay. All right, Linda, I'm sure a lot between now and next week. I'm on your show next
I'm
week.
sure we're gonna be busy.
I think we're going to be busy as you know what.
And don't forget, give your office number again.
Yeah, for our event, please call the office 847-590-5411. Also, I'll be doing the Aloha Oracle for my members tonight at 7 p.m. Central Time. So there you go. Be sure and join us. All right. Linda, thanks for the donation.
Thank you, honey.
That money's
Oh,
gonna
you're so welcome.
go to this.
Yeah, you up to Africa.
Yes.
That's wonderful.
All right, sweetie.
All right, honey, you take care.
Bye-bye.
Ciao, you guys.